My name is Terri Sproul and I want to welcome you to my studio. Today I'm going to show you how to work with paper clay. Simple paper clay that you can get at PaperClay.com, and I'm going to teach you how to make a frame. And the frame here is actually made out of paper clay. The embellishments are made out of paper clay, and I've embossed or imprinted stamps into the paper clay. So come on down to my workspace and let's play. Hi, my name is Terri Sproul and I want to welcome you to my studio. Today we're going to work with paper clay, and I'm going to show you how to make a paper clay frame. The frame is actually made out of paper clay. I impressed some stamps into it, and I also made some paper clay embellishments. So let's get down to the work spot and let's play. First thing I did is pulled out my paper clay. Now here's a great tip. Actually, two great tips. One, if you kind of work with your paper clay when you first pull it out and kind of knead it, it kind of makes it a little easier to work with. Also, I use a product called Press and Seal that you can get at the grocery store to help seal my paper clay up after I'm done using it. And this allows you to get all the air out of it, and it stays really well because you know paper clay will dry to air. Now, I want some playing cards and some Teflon sheets. What I'm going to do with the playing cards is they're going to actually be my measurement on how thick I want my clay. So I have two piles of playing cards. They're pretty close to being evenly amount of cards. I didn't count them, really. I'm not a measurer or counter, so I'm going to put those down on my Teflon sheet, and then I'm going to grab my paper clay that I have been kneading here for a few minutes, lay it down onto my craft sheet, my Teflon sheet. I also like to use a rolling pin, or this is actually a PVC pipe, and this is actually a really cheap way of using a rolling pin. You could probably get this out of your husband's work spot in his house, in his garage. So we're going to go ahead and roll this out. And what the cards are going to allow me to do is make sure I get it to that certain thickness. Now my other frame is a lot bigger than the one we're going to do here today. I'm just going to show you how to basically do this technique without making a huge frame. So once I got it rolled out to the desired thickness, now you're going to use, I like to use a plastic knife to cut my paper clay. You can go in and measure all this if you'd like, but I'm not a measurer. I'm just a kind of a eyeballer. So I'm going to get some square pieces going here. So there's my square piece. Now, the leftovers paper clay that I like to have some molds sitting around on my desk. And I will instantly take this paper clay and start shoving it into these molds. And that way I don't even have to store this again. And then I have a bunch of molds pre-made for myself to play with at a later date. So that's another really good hint. But you could just put this all back into that plastic wrap there, the Press and Seal that you got at the grocery store. Also at this point you want to make a center. Again, I'm not a measurer, so I'm just going to cut it out. And if I wasn't doing this on video, I'd probably be a little more anal about it and make it perfect. But I'm just trying to teach you guys a technique today. So I'm pulling out all the miscellaneous leftovers. Now, because it's still wet, you can take your finger and go in and smooth all these sides out and make them a little more round, a little less square. You know, just going in and cleaning them up. See how that instantly made a difference on it not being so square and so rough edges. They soften those edges right up. Okay, now also at this point you can add some stamps to it. These are some rubber stamps that are all about steampunk, which I'm really into right now, that I can literally just press right into the paper clay and it'll make that impression. See, it says steampunk. Isn't that cool? Sorry, I get excited easy. Here's some gears. These are all stamps from Stampo.com, STAMPO.com. You can get your paper clay at PaperClay.com. Go ahead and press this one in. How cool is that? Both of them say steampunk. Now, important, if you want to put holes in your paper clay, to hold, like I have a string that's coming through this one, you need to make sure you make those holes while your paper clay is still wet. I learned that one the hard way one year. So I use the opposite end of my knife, and I actually just go in, again, not measuring, and make 2 holes. And I usually will turn it over, make the holes again from the back. While I'm back here, I might clean it up a little more, soften those edges. Really don't like how uneven that is. Okay, so I've got my holes in there for my future string. Softened all the edges. Now you're just going to let this sit and dry. I will actually let it dry overnight. I seem to do a lot of that. I like to do a lot of projects right before I go to bed, and then wake up in the morning and they're all ready for me to paint or whatever. So there we go. It all looks really good. We'll let this dry overnight, or if you're in a hurry, you can stick it in a very, very low oven, like 200 degrees, and it will dry a little quicker for you. But make sure you really watch it so that you don't have any, cracking or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go at this point. Again, you can go to PaperClay.com or Stampo.com to get those great steampunk stamps, or visit me at TerriSproul.com. Thanks for visiting me down here at my work spot. Thanks. Bye-bye.